My name is Karen Hertz, and I am the Chief Brewista and founder of Holidaily Brewing Company, which opened in February of 2016. Holidaily Brewing Company is a dedicated gluten-free brewery located in Golden, Colorado, and we aim to serve the gluten-free community and anybody looking for great craft beer that happens to be gluten-free. So my entrepreneurial journey is really a combination of my education, my work history, and my personal life. I have an MBA in entrepreneurial studies from CU Denver and didn't really think I would be an entrepreneur, but couldn't pick a track. I went in thinking, you gotta just pick marketing or just pick finance, and I really loved being a master at none and learning a little bit about everything, and that really led me to this entrepreneurship track. The majority of my work experience was actually in the beer industry, so I was working at Miller Coors and working with distributors, getting beer from Golden, Colorado out to different states in the central region. And so that got me the beer industry knowledge and experience. And then I ran into some health issues in my life. In 2007, I was diagnosed with melanoma. And in 2008, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer and an autoimmune thyroid disease and was told I needed to be gluten-free. And was working in this beer industry and love beer and live in Colorado, and it's really a part of the community here, whether it's après-ski or being part of sports or mountain biking, and the craft beer community is here, huge here too. And I felt left out of that and thought there had to be other people in a similar boat. So started doing research into how can I make great gluten-free beer. There were some gluten-free beers on the market at the time that I just felt like the quality of the beer wasn't great. It led me to doing research on ingredients, how to brew great gluten-free beer, and ultimately opening our business in February of 2016, which at that time was just a tap room that was open 3 days a week because I wasn't really sure how many people would come, and we had 3 beers on tap, and we grew quickly. By the end of year 1, we had 10 beers on tap, 2 beers in a can that we were self-distributing. And from then we just continued to grow within Colorado. And now we distribute throughout Colorado and throughout all of Arizona and hope to keep growing. A couple things around starting up this company have felt really serendipitous. I was looking for grains, looking for ingredients, and the only dedicated gluten-free malting company in the whole world was located 60 miles from my front door in Wellington, Colorado. So that felt like a sign that this may be the right thing to do. It's a company called Grouse Malt House, and they malt only gluten-free grains for people like me to make beer with. And she was the only one in the world at the time. So it just felt unique and like a great opportunity and a sign. Other things that happened that were similar were I was looking for a head brewer. I knew a little bit about beer and needed to know how to brew beer, but I was never going to be the commercial brewer. I'm really good at drinking beer and selling beer. I'm not great at making it, so knew I needed a head brewer and started looking, and ultimately an applicant came through who was a 25-year brewing veteran. He'd won multiple medals in competitions, worked at huge breweries like Bell's Brewing Company in Michigan, and brought so much expertise to my little beer project that it really brought the level and the quality of our beer to unbelievable heights and way beyond my expectations. So that was another really great stroke of luck that he happened to be looking for a job when I was looking for a brewer. So that part was really, really cool. So we opened in February of 2016. It was tap room only. I was working behind the bar, and every hour we were open. And then as we were growing distribution, it really started with me in my mom car, I like to say, but I would go knocking on liquor store doors with samples of our beer and then have them taste it and hopefully get an order and drive back, pick up beer and deliver it myself. And it really was feet on the street, grassroots, and got big enough to hire a sales employee to come help me and sell beer, and we just self-grew this until we got to a point where we thought we would need distribution and distribution help through distributors. And it also ignited the need for a second brewery. So we filled out our tap room space and all the capacity that we could brew with in there, and ultimately built a brand new production facility across the street to help us fill all of Colorado, but start our expansion outside of Colorado. The company vision for Holidaily in the next 5 years is to really have regional growth of our brands distribution-wise. And it's getting beer out to people that otherwise don't get to have a beer. And I think that's really how I inspire vision in my people, is that the meaning behind the product that we make is much bigger than the product itself. It's just beer, which is really a simple product, and you don't overthink it too much, but if you really think about it, it can reflect community and even just normalcy for people that have been really sick for a long time. They haven't been able to have a beer after a mountain bike ride or at a football game or a baseball game. It's just tied to some events. And to be able to give people that and bring that community and some normalcy back to their life is really how I inspire our employees, and really our customers inspire our employees to. They're so appreciative and they thank us all the time, and you get to see like they just feel normal again. And to have really the mission bigger than the product is how everybody is inspired to achieve the goal together. The elements in inspiring a thriving culture are really around having a set mission and vision and communicating that to your staff, and making sure they not only understand it, but they understand how their day-to-day actions feed into it. It's so much more motivating to understand why you get up in the morning and all the things that you do all day contribute to the ultimate goal of the company. So you can have all these mission and vision and any other sayings or things, and you can communicate it, but if they don't understand why their piece of the puzzle is so important, then it's really hard otherwise to inspire people and motivate people. So I think that's really the key. I think also it's beer. Having fun is really important to inspiring people. We spend so much time at work. I just am such a believer that it needs to be something fun and something that you believe in. Ultimately, my passion outside of the office is to find balance. So for me, if I am not at work, you can usually find me at one of 3 places. And one is with my family, spending as much time with them as possible. The second is doing something active, whether it's running or skiing or biking, playing soccer or yoga or something like that. And then the third is either watching a sporting event or being at a sporting event. It just cheering for something and being with other people really feeds me and relaxes me and reinvigorates me to go back and get back to working again. The best piece of business advice that I have received is a quote that I often tell my team, which is ready, fire, aim. It sounds a little bit reckless because you fire before you aim, but I just think so many entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs are aiming for so long that they never ever fire. And I think in some cases you have to be comfortable pulling the trigger and taking a shot at something, knowing it may not hit the mark perfectly, but you can always make adjustments afterwards. I like taking those chances. It's a calculated risk. It's not just reckless and do whatever you want, but I believe in taking some chances and then adjusting and honing in on the mark you want to hit. Characteristics that I consider important to be a Titan in industry include running a business or a service or producing a product that is unique and unlike anything else that's out there. I also think as a Titan themselves, a Titan needs to inspire people. Ultimately, the end game is to make everybody else want to up their game. And I think being a leader that does that makes you a Titan. So with me today, I brought our favorite blonde ale, Fat Randy's IPA, and our Riva Stout. The favorite blonde is my favorite, and it's our flagship beer. So I figure since it's 2020, we should at least give a toast to all the Titans. Cheers!